Okay. Imagine a science laboratory. You might think about scientists wearing lab coats, conducting experiments on animals and weird objects and weird fluids, using instruments fit for a torture chamber, all in a wonderfully sterile environment. Now imagine a research alternative. What does that look like? How is that rendered in today's world? Today, that answer could be citizen science, and I'm here to discuss what citizen science is, how people in the past have paved the way, and how people participate in citizen science today. Traditional science differs from citizen science because one of the pillars that it stands on, which was observed and theorized by sociologist Robert K. Merton, is organized skepticism. Organized skepticism is where, let me just read this, is where projects and research projects are subject to rigorous scrutiny. With citizen science, according to researchers Chiara Franzoni, Associate Professor of Politecnico di Milano, and Henry Sauerman, Associate Professor at ESMT European School of Management, any individual who is interested in the project is invited to join. Two key elemental factors of citizen science projects that they observed were, number one, projects included a large number of self-selected participants to contribute, and two, findings could be openly discussed amongst contributors. Citizen science is oriented around collaborative research conducted by a network of volunteers, hobbyists, and amateur scientists, no matter their educational background or familiarity with the topic. It's easy to assume that citizen science is a new wave of knowledge production. But we're curious beings who have been conducting experiments from the very beginning. There are historical figures in science whom you may already be familiar with who have paved the way. It can be argued that inventor Thomas Edison and Michael Faraday, a chemist, were both citizen scientists. Edison was deemed a terrible student who had to be homeschooled, and Faraday only received the rudiments of an education. They both did not have a formal education and they came from humble beginnings. But with their deep interest in their various subjects, they went on to create inventions that elevated mankind and made advanced discoveries. But in order to understand citizen science as we know it today, we must look to the work of Wells Woodbridge Cook. According to the 34th volume of the Auk, an quarterly ornithology journal published in 1917, Wells' work in the Mississippi Valley marked the beginning of cooperative observations on migration in the U.S. From 1881 to 1882, Cook invited volunteer ornithologists of Iowa to send him lists of winter residents, migrants, and arrival migrants. Here, we see that Cook garnered and organized colleagues to participate and observe the findings that they found with bird migration. If only Cook had the internet. Today's 24/7 online community amplifies Cook's actions. Citizen science has found its own cyber platform to share research. Sites like iNature, Galaxy Zoo, which boasts over a 250,000 contributor base, and Whale Song, which uploads audio from singing whales. That makes me so happy. Online communities are growing every day. IRL, in real life, higher institutions of learning partner with volunteers. For example, the Cornell Lab of Ornithology conducts research only in partnership with volunteers, and they conduct tasks such as data entry and observatory notes and more. People are making great strides in discoveries with and without these higher learning institutions. With people conducting collaborative research, sharing findings, much has been accomplished. When a natural disaster hit Japan, Joey Ito took actions which led him to develop SafeCast.org, a global volunteer-centered citizen science project working to empower people with data about their environment. And when a pastoral counselor with no medical background found out that her two kids were diagnosed with a rare terminal illness that had no cure because of lack of research, Shannon Terry took it upon herself to reach out to researchers, others with the disease, and founded her own research institute. Their latest discovery, they actually tracked down the gene that triggers the disease. So, with just a little bit of interest, or a lot of interest, and passion, the citizen science community offers people who will give you guidance and input along your exploratory journey. No rolling resume or steep credentials necessary. With passion and curiosity, you'll be on your way to becoming a citizen scientist.
All right.